So we say this is good.
Holes I get stuck in on the internet. I don't know any quite as powerful as Google Earth. Seeing beautiful patterns from above, dropping down into street view, and seeing the planet in ways I would never get to see in person. So when I came across this post on Reddit, I was fascinated. It described undocumented markings in Algeria, in the middle of the Sahara, near a location called Tebel Balet Tomb.
I'll give it a try.
On Google Earth. There were 22 of them, each with 12 surrounding things, 42 meters in diameter, 420 meters apart, at longitude 420 east. It almost sounded like a joke. But then I copied the coordinates, and I looked.
Interesting.
There they were, identical circles in an almost perfect line, 160 kilometers from any signs of life in the world's largest desert, in the middle of the biggest country in Africa. This is a story about the limits of what you can find out on the internet, about all the different ways of
looking at the same thing, a glitch with the camera?
And about going all the way there. Over the course of the last 20 weeks, we filmed every step of the process as we tried to figure out one thing. What could these circles be?
Well, this is actually interesting though, I like this.
Okay. So this whole story starts back in September 2021 when I first saw this Reddit post. I wanted to figure out what these markings were and make a video out of the entire reporting process, no matter how long it took, because the answer had to be out there. And step one, I knew I was gonna have to send some emails. For weeks, I reached out to everyone I could think of. Algerian experts, officials, tour groups, even the closest hotel in a city called Insala. I read up on the town the circles were located closest to, Fogara Izuya. I asked the commenters on the Reddit post, and we even tracked down a Twitter account we thought was the same Will K, who posted this question to several subreddits before deleting their Reddit account. I tried English and French, organizations, academics, locals, and then I waited.
Interesting.
Whoa. But there was one easy thing to clear up first. Were these circles real? Or were they just some kind of satellite imaging glitch?
That's what I thought.
So I asked a teammate who works with maps a lot, Sam. He produces our series Atlas. And he pointed me to the company that takes a lot of the satellite pictures for Google Earth, Maxar Technologies.
I feel very confident that those are indeed on the ground, and because we see them in multiple images over multiple years. So I know it wasn't an artifact of the processing that Google might have done with our imagery. And then a colleague of mine who has spent a decent amount of time
with cameras on them?
This area said, you know, this is a very rich area for oil and gas. This looks very similar to what we see when they're doing oil exploration.
Oil radically changed the course of Algeria's history.
Oil from the wastelands.
What is the market? What's the good market? I didn't know you could just make a company, okay? Put a fucking rocket and send fucking flying spaceships with cameras on it. I didn't know you could do that.
Desert. And it's believed that
I didn't know you could do that.
is immensely rich in it.
When oil and gas...
I thought the satellites that take pictures were like fucking government, like NASA or some shit.
First discovered there in 1956, companies flocked to the region against the backdrop of a brutal decolonization war with France. Today, Algeria is one of the world's top exporters of natural gas. What Steve is talking about here are seismic surveys, where geophysicists analyze the Earth's surface by sending shockwaves into the ground. Depending on how those seismic waves bounce back, researchers can tell what resources can be extracted from underground. Steve thought that maybe seismic pulses from a specialized vehicle could produce something like this. So, we had a hypothesis, but I wanted a second opinion. So I asked Bob Hartage at the University of Texas. He's one of the world's leading experts on seismic imaging. He responded by email. I can assure you with 100% confidence that the features in this imagery are not seismic arrays used in oil and gas exploration. First, the shapes themselves weren't right. There will be hundreds of thousands of receivers positioned as either a single straight line or
guys, don't spoil it. Guys, I actually want to watch this video. Don't spoil it. If you spoil it, I'm gonna get mold. I'm actually gonna get mold.
Surveying, and you can see what he means. Second, the fact that we could even see them meant that they probably weren't a seismic survey. The objective is to leave the landscape like he found it. If a seismic crew created something like these features, a return visit would be made to restore the landscape. I have no idea what these circles and
they're testing something.
The people who created them wanted those features to be permanent. Closeout? I don't think we need to chat. Thanks, Bob. So I kept Googling. I found geotag pictures from the nearest municipality, Fogare Izuya, on a site called mapio.net. These old stone wells sort of look like they could be arranged in a circle, but reverse image searches were a dead end.
Yeah, but why would they be perfect at perfect distances though?
So we looped in Vox Video's senior researcher, Melissa, to help me out.
So I was trying to find what this thing was. I don't know if you remember from his original post. He calls it the Tibal Ballet Tomb. Do you remember that? Yeah, so I found this article. This is from like 1885, okay. Yeah. The well of Tibal Ballet is at the latitude 27 degrees 20 and longitude 4 degrees 38. And that's approximately where what we're looking at is. And it says there are 2 circular tumuli. I had to Google that. I don't know.
It's just a well, that's it. That'd be kind of boring. That'd be kind of boring. Not aliens.
It's an ancient burial mound.
Which seems like that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Encompassed by 2 concentric mounds in the form of rings, all of great regularity. The 2 rings are respectively 30 and 21 meters in diameter from crest to crest.
Okay, now I'm getting ADHD. I kind of want to know what happens next.
So a document from 1885 said that around the same area, there were 1, a bunch of wells, and 2, tombs with rings of great regularity.
What?
Now, the sketches weren't an exact match, but they got us thinking, what if these things were actually really old? So I sent the pictures to a Tunisian archaeologist.
Okay, yeah, I was right.
We spoke in French because of decades of French occupation in the 19th and 20th centuries. French is still used in many contexts.
She's at her house.
Tunisia
She's at home.
Algeria. And she had a new clue.
Ces monuments, c'est sans doute parce qu'Ain Salah, que je connais très bien, ces monuments-là, c'est en rapport avec l'eau. C'est un milieu désertique, c'est le Sahara. C'est l'endroit pratiquement le plus chaud au Maghreb. C'est une zone qui est très connue par...
What, you want to see how good my French is? You want to see this? I can close my eyes and translate it. Ready? Ready? Okay, ready? What, the camera is blocking? Ready, watch this.
Par le souci de cette chaleur-là, donc
the worry of that heat,
de l'eau.
to collect water. So the people would dig holes. Did I get it right or not?
It's the North African name for a 2,500-year-old style of irrigation system that goes by many names but is often called a qanat. Builders dig a well at an elevated point on a slope
it was correct. It was
deep
accurate.
enough to tap into groundwater. They then dig parallel shafts at regular intervals, and these provide airflow for diggers as they create an underground channel all the way back to the main well. With a slope of 1 or 2 degrees, the channel carries water long distances powered by gravity alone. In a part of the world with barely any rain and no running rivers, this technology provides water for crops and livestock and people year-round, making human-made oases possible.
C'est curieux, hein?
This was the most promising lead yet. It explained the desert location, the circular shape, the regularity and spacing. Even the closest municipality, Fogare Izuya, is named after Fogares. And those Mapio images of wells started to make a lot of sense. But I wanted to run it by more people who had studied qanats.
Qanats are
more
than just, you know, the kind of water infrastructures. I think.
Guys, I'm sorry, check it. Guys, I know you guys invested in video, me too, but I'm skipping. I'm skipping. I'm skipping it.
Commence pas.
I'm skipping. That's what happens. I don't give a shit about the build-up. I don't care.
On trouve pas d'hôtel, ils sont tous fermés et on va essayer.
New Jubilee goes hard, does it? I think you're baiting. The Forgotten has been baiting lately.
Je viens de me réveiller.
Il commence à faire super chaud. Il n'y a pas de réseau. C'est jaune partout. Ouais, mais c'est bon.
What?
Ain Salah 300 km de Ain Salah.
150 km, on a vu que la ligne d'horizon.
Okay.
They'd already spent 24 hours driving to get there.
Guys, I don't really care that much about this video. Yeah, this is a cool video. I enjoyed it a lot. I got invested. Then I kind of went ADHD. Sorry.
Now they had to go another.
Sorry.
In the very late 1950s.
Boom,
Granted, this
boom,
is canned food,
boom,
so it's
boom.
provided
Got
the
it.
seismic waves that would reflect and refract off of the ground underneath. And that
boom. Got it. Makes sense. Okay. So you like this? Is this good or not?